You ever haul so many books in a single month that you think, maybe I should, talk to somebody? Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I am Andrew, and today I have got a book haul here for you. It is a massive book haul. But before we get into that, make sure you are liking and subscribing, hitting that bell notification so you can get regular updates for when I put out new content. Also, make sure you're checking that description box down below for the link to the Wizardly Duo Discord, as well as links to all my social media, including information about my Patreon, where I do book giveaways, exclusive content, and my weekly update. That said, guys, let's hop right on into this book haul because it is a big one. And let's start off with the only digital purchase that I know right off the top of my head, because I'm not going to open up the computer and do all that. This time around, I did purchase Season of Kings by A.J. Retker. And this is one that I initially received as an ARC and I just didn't get to it in time. I went ahead and purchased the ebook. I know AJ's going to do the book justice. I read Oathbreaker and he got me feeling all sorts of things in that book. So I'm excited to read his second novel. Now, that said, guys, we have got some physical purchases to talk about here today. And quite a lot. In fact, it's upwards of around 60 books. And I'm sorry. So we don't have a lot of time to muck about because we just got to get talking. So I bought a box set of translated by Ken Liu, Cixin Liu. And that is The Three-Body Problem, The Dark Force, and Death's End. I have heard this is mind-blowing, first contact, hard sci-fi with big brain kind of ideas. Honestly, this was a FOMO purchase. A bunch of my friends, I think Baron was recently reading it. A whole bunch of people have talked about this series here on BookTube, and I just didn't want to miss out. And so I just went ahead and found a good affordable box set off of eBay and went and snagged it. Now, the good thing about this is I bought a lot of series here, so hopefully we won't take up a whole lot of time here talking about just random books. The next set that I've got here to talk about is Dave Farland's Runeland series. Now, Runeland's one that I picked up the first book as a teenager, and I never really got around to reading it, and so I unhauled my copy. And then, the author has recently since passed, and you come to find out he, did a whole bunch of, he helped a whole bunch of authors kind of get their start. He did, writing classes, and he taught people certain skills on writing. And so I just wanted to, to honor the author, to pick up his work and get to it. So we've got, Runeland right there. I believe that's just the Rune Lords. I said Runeland, it's the Rune Lords. Worldbinder, these are out of order, I believe. Let's see, third would be, this is probably my favorite cover, and I think these are Daryl K. Swees, should say on the back. Yep, Daryl K. Swees. This is Wizardborn, I love this one. And then the fourth one, volume 2, yep, I did do them out of order. So this is Brotherhood of the Wolf. Daryl K. Sweet did all of the Wheel of Time covers. And we've got Sons of Oak, although I think he didn't do A Memory of Light. I think Michael Whalen did that one. And then we've got Layer of Bones. And if I didn't show you, Son of Oaks. So this is just some classic style fantasy. I don't know a whole lot about it, but they are some that I do want to get to. Now, I picked up The Last Blade Priest by W.P. Wiles. This is put out by Angry Robot. I know my BookTube big sister Leslie really enjoyed this one. And frankly, it just sounds cool. It's got this heart here on the back. It's got this bird skull right here. It's got this gold inlay with the red. It just kind of called to me. The priest trained to kill for God. That just immediately right there. The builder, son of a traitor. The child, protected and lied to. So this sounds like a darker tale, but man, from what I've heard about this, it sounds like it's going to be an incredibly enjoyable read, and one that I hope I can get to in a reasonable amount of time. Now, one that I've already read, but I had to pre-order and get a physical copy of, is Flames of Mira by Clay Harmon. I believe I've done a dedicated book review for this. If I have, I will link it up in the cards. I'm like 99% sure I've done a dedicated review for this. I loved this book. It is a subterranean world. It kind of deals with a whole bunch of morality. All of our characters aren't really good people. There are some incredibly complex moral themes that are discussed within this book. And that flame lava fist is just awesome. So I love this book. And frankly, I just bought it because I wanted it in my collection. Anthony Ryan is one of my favorite authors, and so when The Martyr dropped, which this is the sequel to The Pariah, I knew I had to have it in my collection. Even though I have not gotten back to Anthony Ryan in a long time, I still had to go ahead and pick this up. Anthony Ryan is an author who I just absolutely love, and I want to get back to his work here soon. All right, and then next up, we have got the second Conan collection here by Robert E. Howard. And again, these blurbs by Stephen King get me. Whenever I see a blurb by Stephen King, it immediately grabs my attention. And this is The Bloody Crown of Conan. And there's a third one here, and I don't remember which one that is called, but I found this on eBay for like $10, so I went ahead and snagged it because Conan is something that I have been wanting to get into for a while. And then another one that I've already read, and I've been pestering the author Michael R. Fletcher about this for months, or at least a couple months. I got the hardcover of An End to Sorrow, and I pestered him because I wanted it personalized. And so finally, like, he was just like, I would send him random gifts of just like the chicken with like the crazy eyes poking another chicken that looks annoyed. I would just like send him stuff like that. Finally, this came in the mail, and I absolutely love this. It is going right up here. It's going to match my copies, and the blue, the black, and the white is one of my favorite color schemes, so I'm very happy to have this on the shelf and to now have Michael R. Fletcher's signature. All right, next up, I've got the sequel to Crown of Madness, and that is Binding Souls by Ryan G. Beatty. I really enjoyed Crown of Madness. I have a dedicated book review that just recently came out, and you can go ahead and check that out. This is a fantastic world, and I'm excited to get into Binding of Souls because the author messaged me and said, hey, you know, I'm glad you enjoyed my first book, but I think Binding of Souls is 1,000 times better, which just excites me. If I've already enjoyed book one and you think that you've improved massively in your sophomore outing, yes, I am here for that. Now, this is 100% the fault of my buddy Owen Edwards, of Owen Edwards, and this is the Mythago Cycle by Robert Holdstock. And I believe this won like the Fantasy World Award or something like that. In the 1980s. So this is classic fantasy, but I decided to get these out-of-print, beautiful omnibus editions of Volume 1 and Volume 2. He loves this series. He says it's some of his favorite fantasy out there, and so I decided to go ahead and snag these and get them on the shelf ASAP, because frankly, I respect Owen's opinion, and I just kind of want to get to that. Now, of course, I already dropped a review for Wistful Ascending by J.C.M. Byrne. And so we've got to talk about Return of the Griffin by J.C.M. Byrne. This is the sequel to Wistful Ascending. I'm very, very, very excited to get to this one because honestly, Wistful Ascending at this point is probably one of my favorite reads of the year. It is a perfect blend of fantasy, of superhero, and of sci-fi. This awesome blended space opera. It's fantastic. And I just love these covers. All right. Now, speaking of beautiful covers, we have got Legacy of the Brightwash in hardcover from Crystal Matar. This is one I'm currently still reading. I believe I'm about 20% into this. The audio is getting ready to drop, and I kind of want to do a immersion read on this one, mainly because it's a beautifully written story with some interesting characters going on. And I just absolutely want to get the entirety of this story. So that audiobook is coming out. I'm going to be snagging that as well. But guys, look at this. My only complaint with the hardcover is this came out prior to, you know, the gorgeous bonded vinyl hardcovers. So it's that standard just gray cloth bound with the kind of embossed gold there on the cover. But I mean, the dust jacket feels very good. It's beautiful and I love it. All right, next up, we have got 14 of my purchases. And guys, that is Ian Fleming's James Bond. This I can lay entirely at the feet of Mike from Mike's Book Reviews, because he's been getting those gorgeous Folio Society copies, which I can't afford. But I wanted to read James Bond because I've been a huge Bond fan my entire life. I know that this is dated literature. It's got some outdated social themes and things of that nature that may not jive with everybody. And this is the only one that's out of order because I had to do a small repair there on the spine. I just had to glue something right there. But we've got Goldfinger, Octopussy, and The Living Daylights. That name always gets me. The Man with the Golden Gun. We've got You Only Live Twice. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And I know a lot of the books actually differ wildly from the movies of the same name. The Spy Who Loved Me. Thunderball. Oh, hey, that's actually a submarine. I just noticed that. For Your Eyes Only. Doctor No. From Russia with Love. Diamonds Are Forever. Moonraker. I don't know why I did that. Live and Let Die. I can't emulate the Beatles. I'm not going to even try. And Casino Royale. I did those in reverse order. Goldfinger was the only one out of order. I had to get the James Bond books. I've been wanting to do it for a while. And finally, I found a great deal. I got all of those for around $90 on eBay after taxes and shipping. So I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and get those. All right, next up, going Brian Lee Durfee style. I've got them stacked here, reversing out so you can't quite see what they are. I recently went to my half-price books, and somebody here in Indiana had a fantastic Subterranean Press and Cemetery Dance and a whole bunch of signed editions. They decided they didn't want any more. I didn't get any of those nice editions because, frankly, I couldn't afford it at the time. But I did find a signed hardback of Dan Simmons' Flashback. And I got this one because even though this isn't the Dan Simmons one, usually when you're talking about Dan Simmons, you're thinking about The Terror or you're thinking about Hyperion. But I was reading the inside jacket and this just sounds zany and kind of like horror, but at the same time, it sounds like it's got a time travel thing going on with it. It sounded really interesting, and because it was signed, I decided to go ahead and just grab it and give Dan Simmons a go, because I've already got Hyperion. But if I like Hyperion and I want to continue reading Dan Simmons, then I've got my next one ready to go right there. My buddy Scott the Bald Booktuber has been talking a lot about Robert McCammon. And so is Mike from Mike's Book Reviews. And I was also at Half Price Books, and this was the only one I could find. And this was Gone South. And this is about two criminals who have killed people that have kind of fled into the Louisiana bayou and things get weird. And I kind of was drawn to the cover, but also to the premise. This is another one where I was just walking around Half Price Books, completely bored, and I was just reading the inside of Dust Jackson's going, you know what, this actually sounds like it could be awesome. On that same trip, I got a nice, kind of decent condition copy of Firestarter by Stephen King. This is the only Stephen King that I've got in this haul. Usually it's been a lot of Stephen King, but I'm starting to get to the point where I'm okay, I'm starting to run into the problem where I'm having trouble finding good hardcovers of Stephen King. But Firestarter is one that I believe a movie just came out. So I'm excited to give that one a try, and of course it's going to go on the Stephen King shelf. I'm going to keep reading King here on the channel. No surprises there. Now, I was sent... Now, it's funny because I actually purchased these for Nico. Nico actually went and found hardcover copies of To Green Angel Tower and The Stoner Farewell, which is books 2, 3, and 4 of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. So he was like, you know what, I don't need duplicates. You bought these for me anyway. Would you like them? I said, sure. He sent them my way. Alright, so next up, we have got the Coldfire Trilogy by C.S. Friedman. My buddy Narsel has been talking about these for months, maybe even years. I decided to go ahead and snag those and give those a shot. They're supposed to be sci-fantasy, that 1980s sci-fantasy, slightly darker tone, but overall really solid and good, enjoyable books. Now, I was sent these by my good friend and author, Andrew D. Meredith. And guys, these are very gorgeous. This is The Bonds of Promise, The Deeper Faith, and Seed of Hope. This is one story that is kind of packaged into 3 different parts. Basically, what he's been doing is he's been writing the parts and then just kind of releasing them as serialized parts and separate books. He recently reached out to me and he said he might be releasing it as a full kind of novel when it's done. And so that actually kind of excites me. I can't wait to get to these. These are review copies, so I should be getting to these very, very, very soon. But yes, they're still packaged with the ribbon, mainly because I like this ribbon, and I like how they're mass market paperback sized. So I can't wait to get to those. And then, of course, I've got more journai for you guys, because one of my patrons has a Penguin bookstore, and I was just kind of scrolling through his Penguin books, and he had the 2 journai that I didn't have. And that is The Sword of Night and Day and White Wolf. So I went ahead and snagged those. Yes, I have been snagging a lot of mass market paperback. All right, next up, I have got The War Lord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell. My buddy Alan, Mike, Sarah, I believe, a bunch of my friends that I respect their opinion loved this series. And I did not like the American copies, so I sent away for the UK. Because these are just gorgeous. Winter King, Enemy of God, and Excalibur. And this is, historical fiction, Arthurian tales, beautiful stories. Good stuff. So hopefully I can get to that soon. And then I got roasted by Daniel Green here recently on his bookshelf roast. I submitted it. That's not the point, though. The person who came directly after me was Justin, who's my buddy on Twitter. And he had a whole shelf of self-pub. And I was kind of scrolling through that entire shelf, I zoomed in, and I found Oil and Dust on his shelf. And so I decided to kind of read the premise, check it out on Amazon. And then when I went to Amazon, the hardcover was $7. And I was like, okay. And so I picked it up, and it just sounds really cool about an artist in a post-apocalyptic world who goes on this journey. This is the Elemental Artist Book 1, Oil and Dust. I saw that on the shelf, and I just had to go ahead and add it to mine. And then my patron Ryan had this Wild and Wicked Things by, now who's this by again? Francesca May. And this is the Goldsboro edition with the sprayed edges. And Goldsboro does a great, fantastic job. It's just an absolutely gorgeous book. And he decided that this one probably wasn't for him. It's got a little bit more of a romance element. And I'm not going to lie, right now, that actually sounds pretty good to me. And so I went online, I read the premise, and he was like, hey, do you want it? I was like, yes. He's like, fair enough, I'll send it your way. So I have now proudly got this gorgeous book to add to my shelf. I'm very excited to get to it. I absolutely love it. It's going to be awesome. All right, next up, I got more Daniel Barnett books. These were kindly gifted to me by my buddy Nico. And, he sent me My Hungry Friend, Poor Things, Longrieve, and The Safe. And Daniel Barnett is honestly probably my favorite horror author outside of Stephen King. I love his work. It's very descriptive, and it makes me feel all of the things. So I cannot wait to just add these to my shelf over there. My Daniel Barnett collection continues to grow. I believe I now have all of his books. Next up, my patron Jordan sent me The Legend of Eli Monpress. Basically, he was like, hey, we've got similar tastes. I love this book. And I was like, great, I'll add it to my wish list. And then he kind of messaged me. He's like, well, I feel bad adding more to your TBR. I'll just go ahead and get it for you. So I'm very excited to get to this. And Rachel Aaron actually wrote Mary Goodcrow, which is a fantasy western that I had picked up. He was like, hey, she wrote this as well. And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. And so I cannot wait to get to this. I believe this is like an omnibus edition. It's absolutely beautiful, and my shelves are happy to have it there. All right, we are almost done, guys. I can't believe I've actually gotten through 60 books pretty much so quickly. I went ahead and picked up some of the most beautifully physical copies that I own. And this is Christian Cameron, The Long Sword. This is the Chivalry series. Sword of Justice and The Crown, or The Green Count. And this is, again, more historical fiction. I've been trying to grow my historical fiction collection just to kind of branch out as a reader. Now, I mentioned Justin earlier and the Daniel Green shelf roast. On his shelf as well, I saw The Boy Who Walked Too Far by Dom Watson on there. I added this to my wish list, and this was kindly gifted to me by Library of a Viking. So thank you so much. I've kept the slip in there. They made the slip incredibly long. I don't know why Amazon did that, but thank you so much. I cannot wait to have this on my shelf and give it a read. The cover is absolutely stunning. Look at that. So I appreciate you, Library of Viking, for sending this to me. And yes. All right, closing out this book haul. Lara Mccree has her own shop and website over in the UK where she sells her books, and she'll send them to you signed and personalized. I reached out to her, and she sent me books 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Worlds of Lymeria. It's Maroda, Palome, Amara, and Issa. And then also, she included this expanded companion guide for me as well. So I now own all of the books out currently in Lymeria, and I cannot wait to get to those. I am planning on reading Palome here soon, but guys, let me show these to you. These are the old covers. Maroda actually has an updated cover. She updated them with her new author name. This says L.L. McNeil, and she now goes by Lara Mccree. We've got Palome. We have got Amara. And then we have got Issa. So guys, that is all that I have got here for you. A 20-minute book haul. Thank you for sticking here with me. I am going to try and not haul this many books again because it was a lot. Let me know in the comments down below which one of these I should prioritize, because frankly, I have no clue what to do. That said, guys, that is all I have got here for you. So till next time, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.